Welcome to Stick Figure Sorcery, and in this video we will go over the 6 core abilities in D&D and how to use them in the game. Before going over the different abilities and how they impact your character, let's start by looking at the scale used to represent how good your character can be in each of those abilities. The scale starts at 1 and goes up to 20, although magic items, spells and curses might make a score go above 20 or in a very bad situation take you down to a 0. In the middle with a 10 is the average for a humanoid. With a score of 10 or 11 you have a 0 modifier, which would mean that when you roll a d20 test with that ability you add nothing to that roll. When you reach an even number going up, you reach a new modifier. If you reach 12 and 13, you get a +1 to rolls. 14 and 15 are a +2. That goes all the way up to a +5 when you have a 20 score. Going down below 10, you get a negative modifier, that number getting bigger each odd number you descend to. At 9 and 8, you have a -1. 7 and 6 are a -2. Down to a -5 when you have a score of 1. Like with a positive modifier, when you have a negative modifier, you add that to the dice roll. If you roll a 5 and have a -1, that becomes a 4, whereas if you have a +2, that 5 would instead become a 7. The 6 abilities are split into 2 categories. Half are physical traits and the other half are more mental traits. The first ability is Strength, one of the physical traits for your character. Do you want your character to have the might of a legendary hero? Do you want to be able to pick up heavy items or throw your gnome companion over a gap? Strength is the ability of choice to be able to do those sorts of things in the game. Strength will dictate how much your character can carry and will also allow you to wear heavier armor without slowing your character down. Melee weapons use your strength to attempt to hit a target, and you get to add your strength to the damage dealt by those weapons. Strength only has one skill tied to it, Athletics. Athletics might be used for climbing up a rope, or breaking out of a trap, or even to attempt to push over an enemy. Classes that have strength as an important, or even the most important ability are Barbarian, Fighter and Paladin. Rangers might want their strength to be their highest, but they might alternatively want their dexterity. The next of the physical abilities is Dexterity. Do you want to be sneaky? Do you want to be able to balance across a rope bridge over a river? Dexterity is the skill that allows you to do these activities. Firing ranged weapons like bows, increasing your armor class, and being light on your feet are all controlled by dexterity. Some melee weapons have the Finesse trait, which allows you to choose to use dexterity instead of strength for attack and damage rolls, and all ranged weapons use dexterity for those same rolls. Your initiative at the start of combat is also based on your dexterity, and your armor class without armor is 10 plus dexterity modifier. Light armor adds your dexterity to the armor score of the armor, and medium armor also adds up to 2 from your dexterity score. There are more skills tied to dexterity than there are to strength, with acrobatics, sleight of hand and stealth being dexterity skills. Acrobatics might be balancing on a narrow ledge as you traverse a cliff. Sleight of hand might be used to pick a pocket or to pick up something without others noticing it. Being able to move unseen or to approach a guarded location without alerting the guards to your presence would be stealth. Because of how dexterity impacts AC and initiative, it can be helpful for all characters, but for rogue and monk it is especially important, as well as for fighters and rangers if you want to play a mainly ranged bow-wielding character. The last of the physical traits is Constitution. This ability measures how hearty you are, and how much of a beating you can take, and your ability to shake off poisons or extreme weather. Your Constitution score impacts how many hit points you have, and for spellcasters, you might need to make a Constitution saving throw if you take damage and are holding on to concentration for a spell with ongoing effects. There are no skills tied to Constitution, but because of it impacting hit points, it is still a very valuable ability. It is an important ability for every class in the game, particularly the martial classes, who are more likely to be in the front lines of combat taking more damage. Having looked at the physical abilities, now let's look at the mental stats. First up we have Intelligence. Would you like to be smarter than everyone else and be able to outthink your enemies? Do you want to know about spells and magic items, or about the different eras of a place? Intelligence is the ability that oversees all of that. There are 5 skills that are linked with intelligence: Arcana, History, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. Arcana covers magical knowledge, such as spells or magic items. If you're trying to recall info about a place or important people, that would be a history roll. If you are searching for a desk looking for a hidden compartment, that would be investigation. Nature might be used to work out if a plant is poisonous or an animal is naturally aggressive. And religion can be used to see what you know about a god, or if you are familiar with a religious organization or holy symbol. Often people will be confused about why nature and religion are tied to intelligence and not wisdom, given wisdom is more tied to the nature classes Druid and Ranger and to the religious class Cleric. But rolling to check these skills is more about seeing what you know about it from an academic sense, so what you've read about in books or learnt about in a classroom. Because wizards use intelligence for their spellcasting, it is essential for them to have a high int score, and Artificer, a non-standard 13th class, also needs int for their spells. Wisdom is used to measure your understanding of people and the world around you. Do you want to notice a slight shift in atmosphere in a room that might indicate a hidden door? Or do you want to read the deception in the face of an NPC trying to lie to you? Those would be reasons to have a high wisdom score. Wisdom also has 5 skills that are tied to it, and they are animal handling, insight, medicine, perception, and survival. If you want to try and train in pet how to do tricks, that would fall under animal handling. Attempting to read someone's intentions is insight. Medicine can be used to work out an illness or cause of death, but can also be used to attempt to stabilize a dying individual. Perception will alert you to changes in the world around you, whether that is animals behaving differently in a forest because of a predator, or to spot a group of bandits hiding beside the road trying to ambush you. You can use survival to try and forage for food or to find your way through the wilderness. Perception is often seen as one of the most important skills in the game, so wisdom is usually helpful for most classes, but is especially important to clerics, druids and rangers who use it for their spellcasting, and monks who use it for some of their class features. The final of the 6 abilities is Charisma. Charisma is the social skill and comes into play when you're interacting with NPCs out of combat. You can use it when trying to lie to a guard to get into a building, or to haggle with a shopkeeper over the price of an item. The 4 charisma skills are deception, intimidation, performance, and persuasion. Given that they are all social skills that are closely linked, deception, intimidation, and persuasion can all be weaved into a single conversation, so it might make sense to only roll 1 skill check for the entirety of that situation. If you are lying to achieve an outcome that benefits you, or get somewhere where you are not supposed to be, that would be deception. Intimidation would be used to scare somebody into acting in a way that you want them to. Singing a song for your night's stay at the inn would be performance, but so would be distracting somebody so that your party might be able to sneak past them. Persuasion would be flattering somebody or trying to bargain with someone. Bard, Paladin, Sorcerer and Warlock all use Charisma for their spellcasting, so will get the most use from it, but any class can benefit from being better at talking to NPCs in the game. That was a quick overview of the different abilities. Let's now quickly go over how you gain your starting ability scores. The first of the 3 ways to generate abilities, and the easiest, is the standard array. With standard array you get 6 set scores: 15, 14, 13, 12, 10 and 8, and you get to choose which ability you want to allocate each number into. Because it uses the same 6 numbers, if everyone in the party uses standard array, the PCs will be very evenly balanced. Up next, and a little bit more complicated, is point buy. With point buy, you have 27 points and can allocate them how you want to spend them. The table is a bit more complex than standard array, so I'm going to leave it up here for a bit so that you can look at it. Feel free to pause the video if you want to look at it for longer. With point buy, each of your 6 stats start at 8, and you have to spend some of your 27 points to raise that number. It costs you a point per score up to 13, with 14 and 15 costing you 2 points each. You are unable to raise any stat above 15 with these points. The last, most varied, and usually most fun method of generating your ability scores is by rolling dice for them. Because of the randomness of results you get from rolling dice, it can lead to very high, very low, or mediocre abilities. It can also lead to two players at the same table having very different ability scores, which can feel unfair to the player with the lower stats. So something I do is at the start of a campaign, I get everyone to roll one of the numbers, and that way everyone gets to partake in rolling for stats, but it is much more balanced because everyone has the same 6 ability score numbers combined. There are many different ways to roll dice to generate the stats, but the most common one is to roll 4d6, remove the lowest number rolled, and add together the remaining numbers, and that is the generated total number. You would then do that same process 5 more times, creating 6 total numbers that you need for your abilities. It is also often common to allow 1s on the dice to be re-rolled, just to make the numbers slightly higher. I myself let people re-roll 1 and 1 on each number generated. Rolling dice creates the possibility of having a starting number above 15, with 18 being the highest possible rolled number, but it also has the possibility of getting below 8 as a starting number. Quick reminder here that with the 2014 rules, you get to add some ability points from your species, and with the 2024 rules, you get to add those boosts from your background, which are added to the starting ability scores. In almost every case, this will be +1 to one ability, and +2 to another ability, or +1 to 3 separate abilities. For example, when using Standard Array, you might add the +1 to your 15, making it a 16, and the +2 to your 8, giving you a second 10 and no negative scores. Thanks for watching what I hope was a helpful look at the different abilities in D&D. Now get out there and roll some dice.